What's going on, everybody? I'm Aaron Atwell, and you're watching Story Over Everything.
You're so cool. Got everyone mesmerized. High school jewel. You're the curse now.
So in today's episode, we're going to be doing, which is actually our first episode ever, super excited about that. We're going to be doing a film critique from a good friend, Anthony Stevens. He's part of the group, friend of the show, you could say. And he sent in his video and is willing to have it critiqued in front of everyone. Let's see what he says about it. Because it's always important to know, like, what they're going for, like what an artist is going for with their work before, you tell them what's right or what's wrong or how it makes you feel. Before you critique a work, it's important to know what they wanted their audience to experience. Let's see what he says in this email. Hello, Aaron. All right, let's get down to business. What's up, Anthony? As we know, this is his first ever paid wedding. They ordered a highlight only, but his goal was to try to over-deliver, it looks like. He says he's a slow editor, and he wanted to take on the shortest one to knock it out of the way first and get started. That makes sense. All right, Monday at work, he found this song for the highlight. He says he loves it. He feels like it builds up and leaves you at the end wanting more. We'll be the judge of that. So he decided to do the teaser. Took maybe 3 hours, stabilized a few clips, had to straighten the horizon of one shot, messed with some slow motion, different speeds, did some coloring. What did I want the viewer to feel and see? This is the most important part. Well, I wanted more of a pause for a moment and watch feel. Pause for a moment and watch feel. Okay. I wanted them to, at the end, maybe feel like they wanted to see the highlight later on. I wanted to have a building to something greater. Feel like you wanted to see them together, but not show them just yet. I wanted the viewer to be tempted to look up the rest later. Okay, that all makes sense. Let's minimize. Anthony's going for a true teaser. He wants to give you a tease, not give away the story, and hopefully you'll be like, oh man, I wonder if that thing's done yet. Let me look it up and see. So here in front of everyone, he's going to be critiqued, and I'm just going to be giving my honest opinion, whatever that's worth. Here we go. I don't like the title. So if you're going to go stylized, you have to go either a very unique style, like it's you, like maybe you wrote this, Anthony, or go classy. I don't like the, it looks like a font that's like comes stock on like a kid's tablet or something. So take that with a grain of salt. I'm just not a fan of these types of titles. Okay, so I can see this, let's see, this shot here looks like it was stabilized. I'm not a huge fan of that because it's like especially with the music selection, it looks kind of like a bunny hopping. That's what it kind of feels like. Yeah, so I'm not a huge fan of that. The establishing shot looks good, maybe a little fast. I would have maybe backed up just a hair and eased a little slower, but that's just style. I really love, the racking of focus, especially when you have, these bokeh balls here. That's wonderful. I probably would have just left it like that. But when you rack, maybe go just a hair slower also. So it's more of a slow vibe, especially with this type of song. Now, if you had like something super upbeat and it was like, that could work. But this one, I think you maybe wanted to go a little slower. I'm going to watch the rest through and then I'm going to come back. Okay, let's go back a little and dive in. So we covered this. We covered this. This one, your focus wasn't. It was here, and then let me move this little bar here. It was here, and then it looked like you tried to rack it a little bit, and it cut off just a little. If you're gonna rack, I would wait until the audience can recognize, what you're going to look at. Don't cut away so quickly. These shots are cool. They just kind of bring you into the environment. This shot, I really like this shot. The challenge here is with the natural light here, and then this yellow. It creates a really ugly color mash that you want to really try to avoid. Next time you do this, man, and this is gonna change your film. Go in here and ask them to turn off that light for just a brief moment. You turn off that light, and this shot becomes very dynamic and ultimately a real game changer. And I think it's something that that you would enjoy as well, Anthony. But I love the. Let me turn this down a little. I love the emotion. Like, you really get the feel like this is an exciting day. This is an exciting time. I'm digging that. This one, you've got the shake, which I'm sure you can see those little micro jitters. Definitely look into a monopod. I don't know what you use, Anthony. I don't know if you're a gimbal guy. It looks like some of these may have been gimbal, or if you're mainly a monopod guy or a tripod, whatever kind of guy you are. But for this type of shot, you can really nail that without the micro jitters if you got a solid monopod. Great colors here, though. I'm pretty sure you use Canon, which would explain, this skin tone is really fantastic. This shot, I'm a little confused about. I mean, I definitely see what you're going for, but her dress looks odd. And it mostly looks odd up here in this section. So I'm not sure if you had like an exposure issue and, we're attempting to fix it. It's tough to tell, but you can see the image breaking down some. Now, I'm not saying that she's going to hate this shot, but future reference, I probably wouldn't include that. And next time, just practice. Just keep practicing. You'll get it. Standard detail shots. I'm not a huge fan of like jewelry details, but that there's nothing to gripe about there. This one, another rack, but again, it's a little fast. And one thing I would always urge is, so the rack is too fast, but you move up, which is a smooth movement. When you're changing that focus, and you kind of make the audience go like this, like what your camera's doing. But then there's this little micro extra movement. When you hit your shot, be still. I always urge anyone who shoots with me to, once you have your subject, composed how you want, try not to move unless it's for the story. Because even if you're like, oh man, it would be a little bit better if I just moved a little, good chance you're going to ruin, 2 to 3 seconds of a clip trying to reset up. And you might miss something good. This one, this is a pretty awesome shot. And hopefully this is, something I can cover in some future videos about what this does and what this means. But including this emotion, and you assume this is the groom, at least I did, I don't know why. But you assume that he's like getting kind of antsy, he's nervous, he's excited. But that's super cool to include. Great idea, capturing that, to look away from faces and, look towards legs. That's a great idea. The only thing I would do is kind of like that, the one shot with the girl dancing. I would cut this light because this yellow cast here, I'm just not a fan of those lights. And then you would have like a dynamic, edge here, which I think would be cool. I call it dynamic exposure. That's a cool one. The white balance looks like it's changed a little here in this next shot, but cool shot nonetheless. And I like how you did this here. I don't know if it was intentional, but you see how you kind of like cut him off, and then you've got this person here. This creates so much depth. It's always important, when filming, especially at wedding, but really when filming anything, to utilize all of your fields. Okay, so you have your foreground, your midground, and your background. If you can keep things separated into those three categories, foreground, midground, background, like you have here, it makes the shot much more interesting. It makes it much more, appealing to look at, and gives it more character. Maybe you could call it soul. It gives the video soul. This is a pretty standard shot. Again, I would have cut the lights out because then you're going to lose this yellow cast on this side, and then you just got that dynamic exposure coming in from the right side. This one, I probably would have changed the composure a little bit. With him being here, it just looks a little, a little off. I would have put him in this third here and leveled the camera. Not terrible, but he's just a little off, and it's kind of distracting for me. But I doubt the couple would think that was distracting at all. More of the jitters. This is a great shot. Yeah, this is a fantastic shot because you don't see her in the dress. You get this little glimpse of her right here in the corner, but you just see their reaction, so like, man, she's got to look beautiful. You just really get the sense that, I don't know, like, I'm feeling this shot. It's great. The only thing that I would do is when you're making this type of movement, never adjust. Like, you see that adjustment right there? Like, now if you want to do like a parallax type movement, you could like go like this, but it's got to be a smooth motion, or else you get that little bump there. The whole point of the movements, and I know I kind of bag on movements a lot in the group, but they have to, if you're telling a proper story, they have to look very intentional. If they don't look intentional, it just looks like a mistake pretty much. So, next time when you're out there, when you're shooting, if you want to use movements, make sure to make them intentional movements. And if they're not intentional, maybe make them look like they were intentional, like they had a purpose to serve the story. This, I thought this was cool. I was hoping that he would have stepped to the left, but that's of course nothing you can control. You did a good job not trying to overcorrect and and mess up the clip, because you see the girls look at her and they're like, oh my gosh, look, oh yeah, so great. And then you've got the guy looks at her and he's just like, look at this face right here. Yeah, he's just happy. He's happy to see his bride, and that's wonderful. And then you get to the end. We got to cut the PowerPoint. Okay, you just can't have that. That's not going to be okay. With your style here, I would look more for a like bespoke boutique experience kind of logo. Something maybe a little vintage, simple, minimalistic. If you had that type of text and writing and branding, I think that bumps your price up a good bit, because these make it feel a little cheaper than I think it actually is. So overall, definitely good for your first one. The only thing that I really don't enjoy about it is the frame rate, but that's also personal style. I think it looks bothersome to see video that's not played at 24 frames a second. But that's just me. Maybe try out 24, see if you liked it. For me, it's just that ultra smooth motion just doesn't feel right to me. Which is a big thing on the newer TVs. They've got like the clear view or whatever they're calling them these days. That everybody's like, man, why does this TV look weird? I gotta turn this off. That's the same thing that it simulates a faster frame rate to make it smoother. It gives it that soap opera effect, which for me is not desired in a romantic drama. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Anthony, hope I wasn't too harsh. The couple definitely got their money's worth here. I think I know what you charged, and this, it's definitely, you got a lot of potential, to really push higher. And I'm eager to see you grow, keep it simple, change your lighting a little bit, and that branding aspect of representing, your style. Do those things, and I really think that, you won't have any trouble commanding some higher prices. With that being said, this is a new channel. Share it, subscribe. There's going to be a lot of cool content coming out here as far as wedding videos, as far as commercial videos, sales training, gear stuff. There's just going to be a lot of things that hopefully is helpful. Also, if you haven't already, check out the podcast. It's kind of the same idea, geared towards beginners, trying to help people out. Subscribe to that if you'd like also. And newly released, we're on Twitter, which is going to be just dropping some nuggets here and there, and a way for people to send in extra questions. So, thanks for watching.
We could write an endless story through the struggle and the glory by your side.